Shortly before the January 6th Select Committee hearings began on Tuesday, Donald Trump was dealt a devastating blow by the United States Department of Justice. Before I tell you the blow, let me tell you the backstory on this, okay? Donald Trump and his legal team had been trying to argue, and had argued for quite some time now, that any communications between him and people at the Department of Justice, where Donald Trump was allegedly telling them to do what they can to overturn the 2020 election, find the fraud, all that, blah, blah, blah. They were trying to say that all of that material, all of those conversations are protected under executive privilege, and therefore, none of the people involved in it, none of the people he spoke to, none of the other people at the DOJ spoke to about it, basically anyone involved in any conversation, all of that was protected by executive privilege, and therefore these individuals could not ever be called to testify to explain what happened. Well, Tuesday morning, again, right before these hearings began, the DOJ sent down a statement that said, we're not going to do that. Since these were extraordinary circumstances, executive privilege doesn't apply, Donald, and we are hereby granting unrestricted testimony from any and everyone involved in those conversations. Nobody is protected by executive privilege. If you get called to testify, you can testify and tell the whole story. That is a major, major blow to Donald Trump. And it's not coincidental, the timing of this, again, right before the hearing started. Because these individuals at the DOJ that Trump spoke to, or then they spoke to the other people, whatever it's going to be, they're going to be a central part of these investigations, of these hearings. Because part of the deal here is not just to uncover who the rioters were, why it was so terrible, yada, yada, yada. The underlying factor in all of this was Trump trying to overturn the 2020 election. That's why those people showed up. They were led to believe the election was stolen. They got driven into a frenzy. They stormed the Capitol. So we have to look at all of the root causes of this. And Trump reaching out to the DOJ is one of them. They may not have even known that it happened. I don't think any of them knew that it happened. But it shows you how desperate Donald Trump was to overturn the election and to stay in power. And of course, how he abused the power of his office to try to get the DOJ to do this, which luckily they did not, because they knew it was bogus. Excuse me. They knew it was bogus. And the fact that they knew it was bogus and the fact that they didn't do what he asked them to makes it all the more likely they would be willing to spill the beans if they're ever called to testify. That is powerful, and that is something Donald Trump has been afraid of for a very long time.